But is it true that more things give us happiness? I don't think that is true. Then all people who have a lot of physical comforts, they should be the happiest people. That is not true. There's a study which says that it's a research conducted on a group of American people. They, they plotted a graph between happiness and your salary and the yearly compensation. So initially the graph was going up. So as the salary increased, happiness was increasing a little bit. After that, it became flat. After that, it became flat. Also, if you have, if anyone of you have heard about Maslow's triangle, did anyone hear about Maslow's triangle? See, initially our needs are basic. Then we feel that that's not enough. We need something more, something more, something more, right? If you look at all rich people in the world, they have everything, but they realize that happiness is not in acquiring. Happiness is in giving and sharing. That is why all rich people turned into philanthropists. So, what I'm trying to say is, we have shifted our thinking from inward to outward. We think that we get happiness from outside. But happiness is our own inner quality that we have forgotten. And we think that if you go to a very good holiday, we'll be happy. If you have a lot of money, we'll be happy. If you have a big car, we'll be happy. If you have a big house, we'll be happy. And our definition of happiness is also changing. When we were young, our happiness was dependent on something else. When we grew up, happiness is dependent on something else, right? So the definition and the dependence is also shifting. So true happiness cannot be found as long as you're looking outside. It is impossible. In fact, it only makes us more and more unhappy. The more materialistic we become, more unhappy we become. So this is what exactly has been happening over last few centuries. If you look at our values in the society in general, there's such a deterioration in values last 100 years, last 400 years, since industrial revolution started. If you look back history of last 400 years, there's a very significant change in our value system. Last 100 years, more dramatic, more and more scientific advancement, more and more focus on outside, more and more focus on material things, and more we became distant from our true identity. And more we are losing our own inner peace. More and more we are becoming peaceless. More and more we are becoming unhappy. So the resultant of all of this is loss of stability. See, our body, the physical body, has 70% water. You don't eat food for 3 days, 1 week, 10 days, probably you can survive. But if you don't drink water, can you survive? You cannot survive for long, because our body is 70% made up of water. It needs regular replenishment of water. If that equilibrium is lost, then we become very unstable. Same thing, why in the current time stress has increased. It's so easy to tip into stress, so easy to tip into depression, so easy. We are just at the tip. There is one incident is enough to tip us into depression. That is where we have reached today. One small COVID incident is enough to tip us into depression. Why is that we reach that stage? One small incident is enough. I have seen, and also statistics says that in last 6 months, the depression patients have increased by 20%. Just last one small virus could affect our mental state so much. Why is that smaller and smaller incidents are tipping us into depression and stress? Because the percentage of these qualities have come below a threshold level. When they come below a threshold level, smallest incident is enough to tip you into stress and depression. So in this meditation, what we do is we increase the percentage of these innate qualities, which are innate, which are our own. And how does that increase? By focusing on it. The more you focus on it, the more it grows. So, see, I'll tell you a few stories to understand these analogies. See, there's a woodcutter. I hope it's okay if we go 10 minutes beyond our scheduled time, 7:30. I hope 7:40 is also okay, because I will try to finish this particular lesson in this today's session. See, a small example of a woodcutter. Once there was a woodcutter who was working harder each day because he thinks, the more I work hard, the more I can cut wood, the more I can sell, the more money I get, the more I can keep my family happy. But something contrary happens. He is putting in more and more effort each day, but the outcome is becoming lesser and lesser. He gets more depressed. Then one day, one person sees and asks, "Why are you depressed?" And he says, "See, I'm putting in more effort, but the outcome is reducing. It is instead of increasing. Earlier, I was working for 8 hours, now I work for 9 hours, but my output is less. Then I started working for 10 hours, output is less. Started working for 12 hours, output is less. That's why I'm disheartened." Then that man laughs and says, "You're working hard, that's very good. I appreciate your motivation. But are you focusing on sharpening your axe?" Then that man realizes his mistake. He says, "Oh, I never thought that my axe has to be sharpened." So if the axe is not sharpened, you work hard and the outcome is slow, right? Same thing. If we don't increase our inner capacity, how much ever we put in effort, we only feel loss of happiness. We are not satisfied. So this meditation aims at increasing our inner capacity, like battery. huh? Battery discharges. We understand what is meant by battery discharging, right? In chemistry, we have studied what happens inside the battery. All those little ions, they get disoriented. That is called discharge. When you charge it, they all become oriented. So when the battery is charged, it works better. When it is discharged, it's more effort. Same thing. When the soul reduces the inner innate qualities, the percentage or the threshold of that inner qualities reduce, then it is there in discharge mode. Then our functionality is not perfect. So we need to charge and sharpen our innate qualities. And one more very nice story I would like to tell about wolves. There was an old wise man who is telling a story to his grandchildren. He says there are two wolves which are fighting. One wolf is a good one. It's a symbolic story, right? One wolf is a good wolf, which has all good qualities. It is compassionate, it is peaceful, it has love, mercy, everything. The other one is an evil one, hmm? Which is deceitful, dishonest, greedy, anger, egoistic, everything. So one is a good one is an evil one. So both are made to fight. So which will win? So the old man asks his grandchildren, which will win? Then the children says, probably the good one will win. That is what we all would like to see, right? Then the old man says, no, it's not the good which will win. Then the other will say, maybe the evil one will win. Then he says, no, not even the evil one. The answer is so interesting, very wise answer. He says, whichever wolf you feed, that will win. The other will go hungry, you feed the good one, good will win. You feed the evil one will win. Whichever wolf you feed, that will win eventually. So, same thing. What we feed inside, that will grow. You feed negativity, that will grow. You feed positivity, that will grow. So, what you become is directly proportionate to what you feed. That is why yesterday Shivani Ben was, her entire focus was on information, content, what content you're feeding your mind. That is so critical. In the West, they say that, there's so many violent programs, TV programs. When children are scanning the television, per minute, they see hundreds of violent scenes. So those scenes are subconsciously going into their minds, not consciously, subconsciously. Because any visual thing, subconscious picks it very fast. So many scenes of violence, the subconscious is picking up, and you see the crime rate amongst children there in the West, it's so high. So surprising how there can be such high crime rate amongst children, because what is fed comes out. Whichever wolf you feed, that will live. So it is very critical what you focus on. The more you focus on your spiritual being, identity, your innate qualities, that will grow. And the old habits will slowly start to weaken. And one more very nice story I would like to tell in this regard, regarding the value of the self. See, it is so easy to lose our own self respect. Why we lose our self respect, self confidence, is because we attach our value to so many different things. I'll tell you one very nice story. There's $100 or 100 rupees note. I throw it on the floor. The value of it is same, right? I hold it in my hand, I throw it on the floor, it's same value. Then I'm going to crumple it with my feet. I wear a shoe and crumple it. Will the value of 100 rupees note change? It becomes crumpled, but it is still a 100 rupees note, right? Okay, now I take that 100 rupees note, I spit on it. Say, will the value of that change? Doesn't change. It becomes dirty, becomes crumpled. Still, the value of 100 rupees note will not change, no? So why I'm trying to tell you this example is our innate qualities. Though we are experiencing, we are going through different situations in life, but our innate value is always there. Whatever life has put us, whatever tough situations, bad situations, negative situations we are going through, still, these are all external things. Don't associate self with those external things. That is one of the big mistakes we do. That is why the spiritual identity is so important. Our innate identity is so important. Because once you understand this very clearly in a practical way, whatever is external situation, you can separate yourself from that external situation, and still you can maintain your inner balance. That is why spirituality helps us in right thinking. Okay, now let us go into more aspects of the self, faculties of, oh sorry, this is a wrong heading. It is faculties of soul. I wrote faculties of mind. Excuse me for that. So there are three faculties of soul. Yeah. So there are three faculties of soul: mind, intellect, and sanskar. These are very important aspects to understand for meditation as well. So our mind, we all know what is a mind. It produces thoughts. We generate some hundreds of thoughts every day. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative, some of them are waste, some of them are routine thoughts. Well, now I have to make my dinner. I have to get ready to go to office. These are all our routine thoughts. But there are waste thoughts usually associated with past. Waste usually depletes us of our positivity, of our energy. And negative thoughts, any thoughts associated with those vices which I've shown you, attachment, greed, anger, lust, all these are big depleters of energy. You know, they deplete the soul of the energy. It is said that if you get angry for 1 minute, the soul depletes so much energy that instead it could have done 9 hours of work, mental work with it. So much energy you dissipate with negative thinking. And positive thinking, thoughts filled with true love, compassion, altruism, all these positive qualities. Those are positive thoughts. So, positive thoughts recharge the soul. Okay, next let us look at intellect. So, what is the purpose of intellect? See, all these are affecting each other. Intellect is a decision making process. Now, you made a decision that, okay, I have to learn this meditation course. You took a decision and the action followed. But first, you made a judgment: is it useful for me? Is it worth my time? Is it going to be beneficial for me? You made all the decision in your head and then action followed. So it is the intellect of the soul which is making decisions. So decision making process is so important. Decision making process is a whole area of understanding. The more our intellect is clear, the better decisions with a confused person will not be able to decide. He'll go to the other person for help. Can you please help me decide this? Why do we get into that state? Why can't we take our own decision? Because we are confused. So we are confused because we don't have clarity, we don't have right knowledge. So our intellect can get that clarity by spiritual understanding. The spiritual knowledge helps to get clarity of that intellect, helps the intellect to be divinized. So intellect is the decision making faculty of the soul. Next is sanskar. Sanskar is habit. See, habit formation, it takes time. You do something today, tomorrow you keep on doing, then it becomes, short circuit paths. Suppose I'll tell you an example. You're learning to drive today. Today is your first driving lesson. So how are you driving on the first day? You're so scared, you're so conscious, you're fully focused on driving. You can't do anything else other than driving. You're only focusing on how to change gear and all that. And slowly you become an expert. Then do you even think that I have to change this gear? Which gear should I? It goes automatically. It bypasses the intellect, right? Because it has become a habit. And you become so good at driving, you can even drive, you can even talk. You can even make a phone call when you're driving. And perhaps you can even have a sandwich when you're driving once you become an expert, right? Because you have learned it. It has become a habit. Once it becomes habit, it bypasses intellect. So now we have to understand how to make use of sanskar. Ah, so if you have the habit of positive thinking, that's also a habit. If you put in that habit of positive thinking, then mostly you will automatically think positive, but you need to make that habit. So to undo any habit, the habit which has become formed is called sanskar. Sometimes sanskar comes from previous birth also. That's why even if you have two twins, each child is totally different in their behavior. Same parents, same upbringing, everything same environment. For twins, parents buy almost the same things. Still, their behavior is very different. Why? Because each soul is carrying its own sanskar. So that is what is sanskar. Sanskar is so powerful, you know. It makes you do action without your conscious thinking also sometimes because it has become habit. Once it becomes habit, it bypasses the intellect. So you have to be very careful what habits you're putting in. So that is about the faculty of soul. These are three faculty: mind, intellect, and sanskar. So now in meditation, what we do is, see, thoughts, as I told you in the beginning, are very powerful. Our mind is the most powerful laboratory. Everything in this world is created in the mind first. Then it took a physical form outside. There's a beautiful table in front of me. So somebody thought of that beautiful design and then it took the physical form. So mind has that creative energy. Our thoughts have that creative energy. Never forget that you can create things. There are two modes in which you can operate. One mode is you're creating, the other mode is you're following. You are under the influence of things and you go by that influence. You go by that flow. That is one way of thinking. And another way is creating. You can choose to create. Shivani even focuses so much on this. She says their behavior, their external things is external, but our response can be our creation, right? So, creative power of the thought is very high. So, whatever thoughts we have, it will be converted into feelings. You have calm thoughts, then how do you feel? Feel very peaceful, right? If your mind is racing, that is where the stress starts. But you can choose to be calm. Should remember that it's always a choice we are making. It's always thought is our creation. So calm thoughts make us feel peaceful. Happy thoughts make us feel great. Sad thoughts, a person who is sad, who is not only disturbing himself, but is also disturbing other people. It's also impacting other people. And if you're always complaining, you have thoughts of complaining why that person is doing this, that. So who is the first person who is getting affected? I'm getting affected. It leads to feeling of frustration. It leads to feeling of irritation, right? So if we, on the contrary, we generate peaceful thoughts, we feel peaceful. We are not only peaceful, but also give peace to others. Positive thoughts make us feel positive, uplifted. Not only it uplifts us, but it also uplifts others. See, there's one very interesting concept at Brahma Kumaris called self transformation leads to world transformation. When I first heard this concept, I didn't understand it. I thought it is too far fetched. How is it? How can they make such big claim? The self transformation can lead to the world transformation. It looks as though it is a very far fetched statement. It took me years to understand that that's not far fetched. That is how powerful our thoughts can be. You know, when we change is always not limited to the self, it is very contagious. Change is never limited to the self. We all think that, see, if I do something small, how is it going to affect? Now we see climate change. Everybody thought like that, and You see such a devastating change it has on the climate. Same thing. We physical things we can understand very, very easily. But these spiritual concepts, they're very subtle. It takes some understanding to you know to be able to see it. Hmm? We see that there's so much of violence happening in the world. Violence is increasing, crime rate is increasing, stress is increasing. But actually, to be honest, we're all equal contributors to it, because our thoughts are waves which travel. Don't forget that thought energy is very powerful. See, our Indian philosophers could understand something which even modern scientists still could not understand. They have understood power of atom. They could understand power of, if you harness atomic energy, how much energy comes of it out of it. And they could go to that level of subtlety. That's also something very good. But they could not understand yet power of mind, power of positive thoughts. When thoughts are frequency and waves which are constantly manifesting. So yesterday, that's why Shivani Ban was so much insisting that create positive thoughts, create, and it's going to manifest. Thoughts have such a high energy that it is going to manifest physically. It's going to manifest in your surroundings, in the world. It's something so powerful and the most neglected concept in the current times. That is why spirituality helps us understand all of this. So, faculties of the soul. Now, let us move into meditation technique. We have understood this concept of the self, right? Today, the faculties of the soul, mind, intellect, and sanskar, and how mind works, how thoughts lead to feelings. Now, let's look at use all of this in meditation. So, now let us end this session with meditation. As Shivani Ben was saying yesterday, three aspects of meditation. One is visualization, affirmation, and connection. So today, let us start connecting with ourselves. Next, we would think about connecting with the Supreme. That is the aim of Rajyoga, is to connect with the Supreme and empower the self. So let us start. Sit comfortably, sit relaxed. You can either choose to open your eyes or close your eyes. It is not important. What is important is where your thoughts are racing. That's most important. What your mind is visualizing, what you're creating inside is very critical. So let us visualize ourselves as a tiny sparkling diamond in the center of the forehead. Today I got true identity of myself. I'm not this physical being. This physical body is my costume. And I'm the soul who's the driving force behind, which is driving the body. I'm the spiritual energy. I'm a shining star, shining diamond, seated in the center of my forehead. Today I understand that peace is not outside. I've been looking for peace in the wrong places. I have been looking for love in the wrong places. I've been looking happiness in people, in materialistic things, in places, in achievements. But true happiness is my own treasure, is my own inner treasure. True peace is my true innate original quality. And I'm a very loving being. Love is my innate quality. Purity, without any in the state of purity, is a state which has no negativity. You're untouched by any negative thoughts, any negative feelings. That is the state of purity. And that is my original state. That's my innate state. So I'm originally a pure soul, untouched by any negativity. I'm originally a powerful soul. Power is also my innate quality. The more I focus on these innate qualities, the more it grows. So I focus on my innate qualities. I remind myself every day the first thought in the morning. I begin my day with this powerful thought that I'm a powerful being, peaceful being, happy being, loveful being, and a pure being. And I remind myself throughout the day the quality I need the most. Say I need to be peaceful in different situations. I remind myself every hour once, or every time I eat and drink, I remind myself I'm a peaceful being. I'm a happy being. The more I focus, the more I'm releasing that energy of peace into my thoughts, which in turn manifest into feelings, which manifest into my words, and then it manifests into our actions. So the thought is that creative energy which the waves of it spread far and wide into the world. So I'm releasing the energy of peace and power and love into the cosmos. I experiment this every day, several times, and I end my day before I sleep. Also, I remind, however my day has been, the day is over. I drop the burden. I get back to my true peace, and I start my new day afresh next. Okay, Shanti. So, any questions? Anybody has any doubt in today's session, please feel free to ask. And I recommend that tomorrow, by the time you come back, practice several times, at least 10 times. Take one quality, say peace. Peace is my original quality, innate quality. Practice that 10 times and see the difference, what impact it has made on the day, on yourself. Okay? And you can share it with me tomorrow, how you felt. Any questions so far?
How many days course is this, and what are the timings? Same timings, is it?
Same
7:30
timings,
to
6:30 to 7:30 plus 10 minutes. And it's a 4-day course because it's a basic course.
Okay.
Yeah. So anybody has any questions so far? Kindly unmute yourself and you can ask.
next stage after this basic training,
Mhm.
where we can get further training.
I will let you know.
Okay.
I will let you know the next steps. Okay.
Because I have done the basic this thing training and basic learning the Rajyoga meditation, but I want to continue further in deep.
Okay. Okay. So, do you want to revise this course again?
This 4 days I will continue. After
Okay.
this, still I want to go in detail.
Okay. Okay. We'll do that. We'll do that. We'll plan that. So,
Okay.
we start with the basic course, 4 days.
Ah.
Then I will discuss with our sister here, Manju Ben. And
Okay.
if possible, we can continue for 3 more days, which is the intensive or the advanced.
Okay.
And after that, we have daily discourse, which happens from the center room.
Okay.
So I will explain all of this, at the
Okay.
end of each level. Okay.
Okay.
Other than that, any question, please
Sister,
feel free.
this is Rajni. Actually, in the meditation technique, there is a
Uh-huh.
visualization, affirmation, connection, right? So,
Right.
what exactly the connection belongs to? Just I need to understand. Can you give little
See,
bit
connection, we are connecting to our own inner self,
inner
our
self?
own inner
Okay.
qualities. So, connection, this word yoga itself means connection. The word
Mhm.
yoga, word, the meaning of that word yoga means connection. You can connect to everything. See, you're sitting here, say, I think of some mountain somewhere, or I think of a park. I think of the park close to my house. So, my thoughts are connected there now.
Okay.
So, what
Okay.
you
Thank you.
focus on, you are connected there.
Okay.
You can imagine an ocean. You're standing near an ocean. When you start to visualize that, you can feel that pleasantness. You can recreate that experience. So connection has a very powerful, ability to recreate those feelings to whatever you connect. You connect to a negative image of past or some situation of past. Same feelings are evoked. So what you connect to is very important in meditation technique.
Okay. Thank you, sister.
Anyone else? Any more questions? Otherwise, I'm going to end today's session. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, sister.
Somebody said my voice is very fluctuating.